there's that. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit. Alright, so now I've got 2 levels of overdrive going. Now I'm going to solo over that. Alright, so notice when I'm only using one of the overdrives, it does get a little bit lost. So stacking the 2 together, now that's giving me just kind of like a 3rd level of, I wanted to call it light overdrive, but it's really not that light, it's pretty heavy. It just kind of depends on how you're using it. But that's allowing me to kind of play over what I've already laid down. And it's slight volume boost, but it just gives it kind of that, I guess just the grit it needs to poke through. So let's try it with this one alone, okay? So we're going to go back to that track. Trick would be to go to your bridge pickup. Okay, so that helps a little bit, but sometimes it still doesn't quite do the trick. So let's do what we did before. Let's go back to that track. We're going to kick on both. Bridge pickup. Now I have a little bit more control. So I had a little bit more control over how loud I picked. I could play hard if I wanted to, or if I would just back down and play soft, I've still got enough that I can get over the band mix. In that case, I really wasn't playing that hard at all. Very light with the pick. So here's the next thing I do. Maybe I want to kick in my my distortion, so it's not about making a big distorted sound, but now I'm going to be able to get a little bit more sustain and just a different voicing. And when you use it this way, it's not quite so rock and roll sounding. You know, it's a sound that works actually really good. I use it in church all the time, and I haven't had anybody tell me to turn it down yet. So I must be doing something all right. So let's go back to this track. Here we go. I need just a little bit more, I'm going to kick on my mid boost. Alright, notice I didn't have to add distortion. I didn't have to go to another level of gain. I just kicked on my mid boost. Helps the notes pick through just a little bit more. Another way to do that is to, I can add some gain here. So let's do that. Though I didn't have to with the mid boost, I can add my overdrive in. It's going to give it just a slightly different voicing. So we're going to go from this to this. So dirt level, it didn't really increase that, but it did thicken it up. So how's that sound here? Let's So just different levels when needed, right? So I don't always needle, but maybe, you know, my track was kind of, if I could have built a little bit more on top of that track, maybe we're in a part of the song, everything is kicked up a little bit louder, a little bit more intense. Maybe I needed to just kind of get a little bit more to increase with the rest of the band. So that's why I kicked on that mid boost. And I probably wouldn't use it if I don't need it. But I would use it in a situation where, you know, just the entirety of the song has kind of gone to another level, and then you're able to just add to it again without really just adding loads of distortion and loads of volume. It's just kind of little bit at a time. A little bit goes a long way, especially when you're stacking them together. Okay, let's go back down to our low gain. I didn't even add any overdrive, just a mid boost. One thing that happens is the more dirt that you add, the less clarity you tend to get. And in most situations, I will like to just stay on my light overdrive. And what I did when I kicked this in, it just added, I don't know what it was that it added to it. It just sounds nice. That's all I can say. I try not to get too descriptive about things. Just sometimes it's just not the words for it, right? There's my sustain. Now look, I like to use this one for sustain. But I did the same thing here. Alright, so light distortion, slightly heavier distortion, or overdrive, whatever word you want to use. There's one other thing I'm going to show you, and it's using a compressor as a bit of a boost as well. So here's my tone again. Whole different level of overdrive all over again. So a cool thing to do, I actually like to just leave the compressor on just because I like the sound of it. Leave it on, and then I can stack my gains on top of that. So let's use that with the music. Here's without it. Here it is. Add a little bit more. Oh, so many options, so many things you can do. So there you go. Gain staging, light overdrive, add a little overdrive on top of that overdrive. You can change the sound of the overdrive as well as just use it for a boost. You can go into a heavy overdrive from there. You can mid boost, compress it. Man, so many different things you can do. So yeah, that's why it's important, as well as experiment with the difference in the sound as to a distortion going into an overdrive or after an overdrive. And that's why I've got these set up the way they are, because you do get a slightly different sound. All right. So, till next time, we'll see ya.